routes up and down the Mississippi River. Thank you.
Senator Blunt Rochester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to the nominees and your families for being here. I would like to start with Mr. McMaster. Thank you for the opportunity to meet. When we were in my office, you indicated your willingness to be transparent about the status of discretionary grants in my state if confirmed. And I'm sure that you've mentioned that Secretary Duffy recently shared the grant obligation announcements. Missing from that list were any projects in Delaware. And during his confirmation, he committed to getting discretionary grants out the door and abiding by the law. I'm sure this is an easy question for you. Will you make this same commitment?
Yes, Senator, absolutely. This is a tremendous priority for the administration and the Secretary. You have my full commitment, if I'm confirmed, to support the Secretary in those efforts and to look into any specific projects you may have and follow up with you directly.
Great, thank you so much. You know, I made a point during my meeting with him as well that this funding was already awarded, much of it, and you know, I understand that we're reviewing some of the grants, and so I hope, again, for me, that's not as efficient. So I'm looking forward, and I'm grateful for your commitment. Appreciate that commitment, and we will follow up. My next question is for Mr. Busterud. If confirmed, you'll oversee EPA's Superfund program, and as of now, there are over 1,300 sites on the Superfund's national priorities list. Delaware has 17 sites spread across our state. Given your commitment to putting public health and the environment at the center of your work, and the limited resources for a very complex program, how will you prioritize the completion of Superfund projects under your leadership?
Well, Senator, thank you. I am committed to protecting human health and the environment, as I told your staff during the visit. I am going to make a priority in enhancing and improving the pace and efficiency of our Superfund cleanups. And there are two essential components there. One is a suite of process improvements we can make. There's opportunities for that. I spoke with Senator Ricketts in his office yesterday about that very issue, providing enhanced project management tools to the regions so that they can explore ways in which we can take phases of the remedial investigations and move them in parallel rather than in sequence. And there's also great opportunities for using AI in producing reports and not necessarily spending time drafting documents, you know, ab initio, if you will. But I want to say, too, in addition to those enhancements, I want to acknowledge to this committee that there's a human element to Superfund. Superfund affects children, families, communities, tribes, businesses, and their employees. And I know, if confirmed, I am going to make that a priority for me in terms of implementation. I know our dedicated career staff feels that way, and I look forward to working with them and with the communities we serve.
Thank you for that commitment as well. Mr. Tell, I, as a former staffer, was impressed by Mr. Haggerty acknowledging everyone around this room. And so I'm sure they are proud and inspired. Delaware, as you probably know, is the lowest lying state in the country, which makes the Army Corps' work critical to us as a state. And affordability criteria and the high federal cost share are critical to helping our local communities, like those in my state, mitigate disaster risk. This approach has been essential to funding beach nourishment and restoration projects across the Delaware Bay beach communities, and that really gets inland as well. Mr. Tell, if confirmed, do you commit to following affordability criteria and including a high federal cost share in order to protect local communities?
Senator Blunt Rochester, thank you for your comments. You raise a very important issue, and part of the reason that I'm so honored to have been nominated for this position is because the Corps of Engineers mission reaches into the smallest communities in America and some of the biggest cities and has an impact on all of them in a very real way. And oftentimes it's reaching to the small communities, in many cases economically disadvantaged communities over the course of history, along the Mississippi River, along the coast, along the tributaries. These communities may not have the capacity that the larger communities have, and that's why it's incumbent upon the Corps, as it works with these communities, which are very important, to provide technical assistance along the way, and where necessary, tailor the cost share to meet the community's needs as appropriate, and of course with care for the federal taxpayer as well. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. I have additional questions on brownfields, reconnecting communities, the Port of Wilmington and dredging, but I will submit those questions for the record. I also am in a Commerce Committee hearing on FAA right now, and so I think I heard Mr. McMaster mention that your son is an air traffic controller.
Yes, that's correct.
Tell him thank you. Thank you on behalf of our country. I yield back.
Appreciate that. I will. Thank you.
Senator Boozman.